All right, let's jump right in. Today we're going to explore a really powerful idea about the human mind. The possibility that our greatest tool, the thing we're most proud of, might actually be our biggest obstacle.
And this is the perfect question to start with. Because, of course, thinking is essential, right? I mean, we use it for everything, solving problems, planning our lives, creating amazing things. But what if the way most of us think most of the time isn't really helping us survive at all? What if it's actually holding us back?
And that question right there, it really gets to the heart of the problem. You see, before we can find a solution, we have to diagnose the issue. And our source material points to something that most of us don't even realize we have: an addiction to compulsive thinking.
Let's try a metaphor here. Think of your mind like, say, a power drill. It's an incredible tool, super useful for a specific task. But when the job's done, you put the drill down. You don't keep it running while you eat dinner. The problem is, for most of us, we never, ever put our minds down. Now get this, leaving that drill running all day has a huge cost. The source material suggests that a staggering 80 to 90% of most people's thinking is just repetitive, useless, and a lot of the time, negative. It's not just inefficient, it's this constant leak of our vital energy. And look, we're not just talking about a bad habit here. Our source identifies this as a genuine addiction, and the definition is key. It's that moment when you no longer feel like you have the choice to stop. That inner voice just keeps going and going and going, whether you want it to or not, until it literally feels stronger than you are.
So that begs the question, right? Why? Why on earth are we addicted to something that causes so much trouble? Well, the answer lies in understanding the root of this addiction, which means we have to meet the real culprit, a little something called the phantom self.
Yeah, this is the big one. This is the core question we have to answer. If this non-stop thinking is so damaging, what deep-seated reason keeps us totally hooked?
And the source gives us this fascinating answer: the ego. Now hold on, this isn't about being arrogant or full of yourself. It's about your sense of identity. The ego is this phantom self that's completely built out of our thoughts, our memories, our labels. We unconsciously start to believe that we are the voice in our head. And because this self is made of thought, it needs a constant stream of new thoughts just to survive. If the thinking stops, it feels like it's going to die.
So you can really see the ego's messed up operating system right here. It is constantly obsessed with two things: the past, trying to figure out who am I, and the future, worrying about how will I survive. For the ego, the present moment, right now, is just an inconvenient stepping stone to get somewhere else. True liberation, well, that requires a complete 180-degree turn of our focus, away from what was and what will be, and onto what is.
And this brings us to the real turning point in our explainer. If the ego is the prison built from the thoughts of the past and future, then what is the key to liberation?
The escape hatch from this prison is found only in the present moment. But, and this is a huge but, there's a catch, and this quote captures it perfectly. You can't think your way into the present. Why? Because as long as you believe you are your mind, you're trapped in its game of time.
And I know what you're thinking. This is usually where the fear kicks in, right? Whoa, hold on a second. I don't want to lose my mind. My ability to think is what makes me intelligent. It's what makes me human. And you know what? That is a completely understandable reaction.
But here's the crucial distinction we have to make. This isn't about losing your mind. It's about realizing that thinking is just one small part of something much, much vaster, which is consciousness itself. Think of it this way. Consciousness is the sky, and thoughts are just the clouds passing through. The goal isn't to fall below thought, but to rise above it into pure awareness.
So what actually happens when we do that, when we rise above the noise? Well, the benefits are, honestly, they're incredible. And they show up in a place we normally associate with more thinking, not less, true creativity.
This whole process, it completely flips our idea of creativity on its head. Real creativity isn't about thinking harder. It's more like a dance. First, you use your mind. You focus it intensely on a problem. But then, and this is the absolute key step, you let it go. You enter a state of inner stillness, or no mind. The creative spark, the new idea, it emerges from that quiet space. And only then does the mind come back in to give that spark some form.
And look, this isn't just some nice-sounding theory. A study of America's most brilliant mathematicians, we're talking Einstein-level people here, came to this stunning conclusion. Thinking actually plays a secondary, a subordinate role in the creative act. Their biggest breakthroughs, their aha moments, they all came during periods of mental quietude. This suggests the real problem for most of us isn't that we don't know how to think, it's that we have no idea how to stop. And all of this leads us to our final, and maybe most profound idea, which is about putting the mind back in its proper place, as a tool for something so much greater than itself. I mean, just stop and really consider this for a second. The breathtaking, unbelievable intelligence that created the universe, that created life on this planet, that created your own body, none of that happened because of analytical thought. There is an intelligence at work that is infinitely, impossibly greater than the human mind. To give you a sense of the sheer scale of this intelligence, get this. The DNA blueprint inside just one of your cells, if you were to write it all out, would fill 1,000 books, each one 600 pages long. That incredible intelligence is orchestrating your entire body right now without you having to do a single thing.
So this right here is the mind's real purpose. When it finally learns how to be still, it doesn't just vanish, it actually reconnects with that vast, underlying intelligence. And that's when it becomes sharper, more intuitive, more creative, the magnificent tool it was always meant to be. It finally stops just serving itself and starts serving something far, far greater.
And so, this is the thought I really want to leave you with from today's explainer. And it's not just a rhetorical question, it's a genuine invitation to just observe your own mind. What do you think you would discover about yourself and about the world if you could learn just for a moment to stop thinking?